big hand for Barry Rothbart. So, I'm going to get right into it. I'm really clumsy. I'm a really clumsy guy, but I figured out recently that the worst time to be clumsy is right after trying to be really smooth. You know, yeah, because I was walking down the street and I see this good-looking girl and she's walking towards me and she's looking at me and I'm like, wow, cute girl looking at me. Let me give her a little point and shoot, right? So I'm like, hey, what's up? Then I wasn't paying attention. There was a crack in the sidewalk and I totally fell on a kid walking with his mom. That is the worst thing to do after a point and shoot. But what made it even weirder than that is that for some reason when I took out this kid, I never broke eye contact with the girl. So she thought that this is a signal for I'm about to take out a kid. Huge mix-up. Thank you. You're falling over. So I'm not as cool as I look, but I feel like we all have these visions that we are, and like one of the examples of this for me is if you look at my iPod. For some reason, I just realized recently, I have a lot of playlists called party mixes, but I never go to parties ever. So I realized I have these huge party mix fantasies that I'm living. Like I picture this huge party I'm going to go to one day, and everyone's sad because they have no mixed format music. And then all of a sudden, I kick in the door, and there's smoke behind me. And some dude in the crowd, he goes, oh shit, do you know what that is? That's Barry Rothbart, the greatest mixed format music master to ever live. And I'm like, that's right. And I ninja star the iPod up to the DJ. And the music comes on and everyone starts dancing and like 5 chicks want to dance with me, which is impractical but awesome anyway. And there's a dude in the back in a wheelchair who's never walked before and he gets up and starts dancing for the first time ever. He's like Lou Bega after Neil Diamond. This mix just made my legs move. It's a miracle. Oh. So my friend invited me to go camping recently, and he claims to be a sport camper. And I'm like, really? Can you really call camping a sport? Because I don't think you can call anything a sport where you can easily get away with masturbating while doing it. Case in point, that's why fishing is not a sport. If you play first base for the Yankees, right? Do you think you can get away with masturbating during a game? Don Mattingly did. I'm not going to tell you that. I won't. And I don't think you should go on trips meant for camping. Camping is just something that's meant to happen if another trip goes really badly. It's like, oh, we were on our trip and the plane crashed. We had to camp for 3 days. Luckily, I masturbated for 2 of them. It was a great time. I love camping trips. So moms just don't get HIV. I got a physical recently, and I was talking to my mom, and I was going over the test. I'm like, yeah, I got a, they weighed me, I got a blood test, and I got an HIV test. And she's like, really? You got an HIV test? She's like, what, were you feeling like you had AIDS? And I'm like, yeah, actually, I woke up the other day, and I'm like, man, I just feel AIDSy today. I should take this hypodermic needle out of my arm. I'm gonna test. I was waiting in line at the airport at the metal detector, and it takes forever. And I see this dude at the front of the line. He goes through the detector, and it goes off, and he's like, "Come on, come on!" And then he reaches back into his pocket and pulls out a handful of nails. And instead of throwing them away, he places it in the plastic thing to go through the metal detector. Just in case they find something dangerous in his handful of nails, right? And then, they're like, "Sir, you can't get on a plane with a handful of nails." You know that, right? And he's like, "You can't make one exception? This one time?" Like, I could see if he had one nail, maybe, like a sentimental nail from his grandfather. Maybe. So first impressions are really weird. And I feel like the first half hour of meeting someone is definitely just to establish that you're not a weirdo. That's all that is. And one way to really seem like a weirdo is if you accidentally have too much of a theme to what you're talking about. They think you talk about that all the time. I met this girl, and in the first half hour of talking to her, I brought up chestnuts 3 times. And like the first time, it was alright, we were just talking, and she was like, "Oh, do you go home for Christmas?" I'm like, "Yeah, I go home for Christmas. My mom, she makes me chestnuts. No big deal." 10 minutes after that, for some reason, we're talking about street vendors, and I'm like, there are some street vendors that sell chestnuts now? 10 minutes after that, for no reason, I'm drinking my beer, and I'm just like, "This beer tastes a little chestnutty, don't you think?" She's like, "Are you just a chestnut weirdo? I mean, come on." And I'm like, "No, are you kidding me?" And I leaned over and chestnuts fell out of my pocket. Like, come on. All right, thank you guys very much.